Hello, I'm Swarangi. Very recently, I completed 2 years at BOLDNET. BOLDNET, which is Buddies Open Learning and Development Network, is a community which provides a very encouraging platform. It's a very supportive community that provides a platform for building our communication, leadership, and employability skills. When I used to think of these skills when I was growing up, I used to think of these more like something which was a piece of cake. It would be, I used to be very lazy. I used to feel that I would build on these skills and it would be very easy for me. And I would do it sometime in the future when would have time. And when a few years ago I realized that I was facing a few issues with it, I joined BoldNet. Since that time, I've realized that these skills are not a piece of cake. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of practice, and a lot of participation, which I understood that through BoldNet, the more I participated, the more I realized the nooks and corners of building these skills and understanding them. It was almost very similar to driving a bicycle, learning to ride a bicycle, or swimming. You understood how to do it only when you went ahead and did it. To talk just about how to drive a car. No matter how many examinations you give, no matter how many videos you look at, or no matter how many books you read about how to drive a bike, which gear to put in, at what time do you accelerate, at which speed do you change the gear, what is the right, to talk about manual cars, what is the right balance between pressing the clutch and the accelerator, or when to press the brake, what is the right judgment when you are taking a turn. How much ever you read it, you only understand how to actually drive a car when you start doing it. That's when you realize, oh okay, now when I need to take a reverse, how hard do I have to press on the accelerator, how much do I have to release the clutch, what is the judgment when I'm taking a reverse, or what is the judgment when there are too many cars going. What do I do when I'm very nervous when the signal turns green and my car suddenly stops and now everyone is honking? Now I have to start the car in all of that pressure. This same pressure applies when you are speaking in front of a large audience. When I started giving my presentations, or when I started giving my introductions at BoldNet, I realized that it wasn't just the fact that I was introducing myself. I had to do it in front of a whole audience when I had heard so many amazing introductions from all the other buddies. I realized that I had to give a presentation and talk about the things that I had in my script while dealing with the nervousness that I was getting while speaking with the larger audience. Or I had to deal with technical glitches, or I had to deal with not understanding a question that the audience is asking. How to deal with such situations right on the spot is what I learned from BoldNet. And it all came from a lot of practice and a lot of participation on every Sunday morning. I realized that BoldNet was a platform for me which was the only one thing throughout the week that I was actively thinking. It was something which was output based. Whereas throughout the whole week, the only thing that I was doing was passively learning. I was passively taking in information and there was no output whatsoever. But with BoldNet, I got a lot of opportunities to become and take up leadership positions and leadership roles. Avinash sir encouraged me to take up the president role, the vice president role, the meeting host role, the secretary role. All of these roles helped me a lot to bring out the leader in me, to understand how to deal with different situations, to understand how to deal with different people, what to do when a person misunderstands something or reacts in a angry way, how to deal with that situation, how to react very calmly and stay positive and calm in that situation. I also got to learn a lot from hugely experienced experts in all of their own fields, and I got to interact with them in face to face during our meetings and got to learn a lot from them. The only thing that I have is, if only I would have had this exposure during my school time, I would have definitely gone for all of the class monitor role, class prefect roles, or the head girl positions, or the house captaincy positions. Because BOLDNET gave me the confidence that all of these skills are also available, or rather there in me. And even though it's better late than never, I do have the courage now to say yes to more opportunities than I used to before. And I am saying yes more often than before. Last but not the least, and the most important, I would really like to thank BOLDNET and all of our buddies for being so encouraging and giving me a platform where I could make mistakes, as many mistakes as possible, and making sure that they were encouraging throughout this whole process. And most of all, to Avinash sir for taking out so much time and putting in so much effort into us, and making sure that we were learning throughout this whole process and actively learning, and something very positive in us was coming out and was being generated, and we learned to take charge of our lives. And if to anyone who is listening, if you get a chance to become a part of BOLDNET, please do, because you wouldn't just build on your own skills, but it would help you discover a new you throughout this whole process. Thank you.